Hey guys, it's Elisa, and today I have my July wrap up. So, in the month of July, I went ahead and read 10 books, which I think is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and get right into it and show you what I went ahead and read for the month of July. So, the first book that I went ahead and read was The Perfect Play by Jackie Burton. This is the first book in the Play by Play series. Basically, it is a romance novel that centers around sports. So this one isn't specific to football. After I finished reading the Lux series, like my heart was not into wanting to commit to another book character or anything like that. Like my heart was broken after Opal, and I know that some of you are waiting for me to go ahead and do my review of the Lux series and everything like that. Every time I go to edit it, if something comes up, so I do apologize. I am gonna go ahead and work on it. It's just it's a lot that is on there, and I might have to re-record it because some of it I'm just like rambling forever. So I decided to read something that was kind of light, something where I wasn't fully committed, where I didn't have to be afraid that these characters are gonna break my heart into millions and millions of pieces. So, okay. So back to the book. The Perfect Play follows Mick Riley, who is one of the top football players of his time. He meets Tara Lincoln, who is a party planner. She planned a party for his football team, so they end up having uh, a one night stand because in her mind, nobody would want to date someone who has a son, especially a son who was like in freshman who was who a son who was starting his freshman year of high school. So yeah, and it's just a lot of fluff, basically, like be together, not be together. I can't be with you because I have a kid, and oh my God, I'm not good enough for you because you're this like all-star football player, and yeah, it was a good read. There was a lot of bedtime, if you know what I mean. It was like in every single chapter, I swear, like almost single one of them. After a point, I was like just skipping through it. Like I just wanted to know whether they were gonna be together or not. But yes, anyways, I did go ahead and give it 3 stars just because there was way too much bedtime and it was like overkill. But anyways, so after finishing the first book, I went ahead and went to the second book in the series, which is called Changing the Game. The reason why I went ahead and did that was because the first book went was about Mick Riley, who has a brother as well, whose name is Chase? No. Who has a brother named Gavin. Gavin is a professional baseball player who basically gets his own book. At the end of book one, Mick's agent Liz Darnell, she does a really shady thing to Tara, who is like the main character in the first book. So Mick fires her. And Liz is super scared that Gavin is going to do the same thing that Mick did just because she knows that the Rileys stick together. So if one person is against you because you did something wrong, then, she felt that Gavin was gonna like drop her too as her agent because she's an agent. So what you find out is that Liz has been like in love with Gavin for like 5 years or something like that. And Gavin, when she first signed him, he was 26, and she's 2 years older than him. So she was like, no, she felt like it was like jailbait, basically, is the understanding that I got from it. But they overcome their bumps in the road and everything like that. And of course, they end up together. This one did have a lot of sexy time in it as well as much as the first one. So I was kind of skimming through that as well just because I was more interested in the story of it. I wanted to know if they were going to go ahead and be together, and if Mick was gonna forgive Liz, if he was gonna still hold a grudge, like basically what was gonna happen. I swear there was times where Mick was being such a douche. But anyways, I did go ahead and give this book 4 stars because I enjoyed the story a little more. I did like how they included more of Gavin and Mick's sister and more of the parents and stuff like that. So, good story. So after that, I was like, well, I still don't know what else to read, and I still wasn't ready to commit to someone else. So I went ahead and went to book 3, which is called Taking a Shot. This one follows Jenna Riley, who is the sister to Mick and Gavin. She is the Riley family, like the parents and everything like that, they own this like really awesome sports bar in St. Louis, and it's called Gavin. No, wait. It's called Riley's, and it's very famous, especially knowing that Gavin and Mick are professional players. You know, Gavin plays for a baseball team in St. Louis, which is named something totally different than the actual team in St. Louis, and Mick plays for someone in California. I want to say San Francisco is the city, but I'm not too sure. But yes, so Riley's is very a busy place. You know, a lot of sports people show up because of the brothers and everything like that, from all types of sports, from football, baseball, hockey, race car. You know, it's really big and everything like that just because of, you know, the brothers as well. So one of Jenna's rules is no dating any athletes. Like, she refuses to date athletes. And in a way to kind of spite that as well, she's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. She's described kind of not grungy, but she has like a lot of tattoos and really short hair and like a lot of piercings. So it was like her way of kind of rebelling in a way. Liz ends up signing a new athlete who plays for, the name of the team is called St. Louis Ice, which is like a hockey team, and his name is Tyler Anderson. He's always played it off like that he doesn't have this crush on Jenna. Like, he's always like, oh no, she's like not my type of woman and everything like that. Like, I like them more curvy or something like that. I forgot what he says. It actually kind of gets better in the sense that there's more story to it, because it does bring up a lot of things that are going on with things that are coming up with Mick and Tara, as well as Liz and Gavin. So I do like that. I do how the women evolve with each other, like Tara and Liz and Jenna. They all become, you know, sisters, like real sisters, and I like that. This one also kind of bumps in the road. Jenna realizing that it's not really about them being athletes, just, you know, finding the person that you're supposed to be in love with. I love that Jenna follows her dreams. Like, as much as she's so stubborn, like, I love that she finally followed her own dream, and her passion is music and everything like that. So I do love that. With this story, I did go ahead and give it 4 out of 5 stars because I really enjoyed this one. And in book 3, we did go ahead and get introduced to more of the Riley clan, which are cousins. Like, there's no more brothers and sisters, but there's cousins that they go ahead and bring in. The next book is called Playing to Win. This one is book 4. It follows Cole Riley. I want to say he's a running back in the NFL, but I'm not too sure. He's considered like the bad boy of football. He's gone through so many teams. He's always getting like bad press, and he doesn't even try to be nice. Like, if they ask him something, like, he doesn't know how to deflect them. Like, he instantly goes on edge and like yells back or fights back, or, you know, something in that sense. So with the help of his cousin Mick, he gets signed to a football team in St. Louis. His agent, of course, is Liz. And at around the same time, Mick and Tara are getting married. No, they're already married. They got married in book 3. That's how we get introduced to Cole. So I'm sorry I just like gave this big spoiler on there, but anyways, so they get him hired to this new team. He's very defensive, like he only goes to work, he doesn't try to make friends or anything like that. They bring in an image consultant named Savannah Brooks, and she's there provided by the team to basically fix his image. Like she promises the owner and the coach that, they're going to see a big improvement, and she helps him a lot. You also find that there's many, many, many layers to Cole. Like you think that he's just this entitled jerk, like thinking that, well, I'm number one, so I don't have to try or anything like that. But there's so many layers to him. I did enjoy getting to know him. This story was paced okay, but there was times where I was like, really? But I enjoyed it. I did give it 3 stars. I did like the introduction to his sister, which is what book 5 is about. Follows Alicia Riley and her love interest. The name of the book is called Thrown by a Curve. Alicia is a occupational therapist. She's in sports medicine. So she gets a job with the baseball team that her cousin Gavin works for, and the very cocky pitcher named Garrett. Yes, his name is Garrett. He hurt his shoulder almost at the end of like the previous season, and they're in between the next season starting, and his rehab is not bringing anything back. Like he can't rotate his shoulder or something like that. So they're giving him like this update, and he asks her opinion because she's like just real quiet, she doesn't say anything, and she kind of just puts her foot in her mouth. And Garrett was like, you know what, I want you, like you are the only one that tells it like it is, you're like not babying me or anything like that. So she takes it as a big opportunity to prove to her superiors that she can get this done. So they start working together, they start feeling this attraction, they start sleeping together, and things kind of get out of control for a while, and then they end up together. And what I loved about this story was we got some introduction to Garrett's friends. There is going to be, or there is a book 6, and there's a book 7 that should be coming out like next February. So they were really light reads. I did enjoy them. And it intrigued me enough that I am going to continue the series. I did go ahead and purchase the 6 book, but with this one, I did go ahead and give it 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, so after that, I didn't read for a while. I decided to go ahead and just watch TV and stuff, and yeah. So I did go ahead and partake in the booktubeathon. I did go ahead and read a couple books that I've mentioned before, so I'll just kind of give a quick rundown on those. I ended up reading Unraveled by Jenna Showalter. This is book 2 in the Intertwined series. I actually listened to the audiobook version for Booktubeathon, and this book, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because of the roller coaster that everything happens. Like, there's always something going on. Like, it's never boring. The next book that I went ahead and read was book 3 in the series, which is Twisted. This one, the story continues. There's more roller coasters. There's a really big cliffhanger at the end of book 2, so I had been putting off forever to read this one, but after listening to the audiobook, I had to go ahead and pick it up, and this one was just as good. I hate that there is no answer about book 4, which this book came out in 2011, so I don't know when I'm going to get book 4. I understand why she has to wait. There's so many storylines that are going on, and it's not confusing with all the storylines. I mean, there's basically 4 going on, which is Aiden's, Marianne's, Riley's, and Victoria's story. So the way this one ended, I freaked out. I freaked out. I can't believe he did what he did, and there's there's nothing that I can do. I just want Jenna Showalter to hurry up and write book 4. After that, I went ahead and picked up Black Heart by Holly Black. This is the 3rd and final book in the Cursed Worker series. This follows Cassio Sharp, and I have read book 1 and 2 a couple years ago. I still did remember the story enough that I was able to go ahead and read it. I wasn't lost at all. Well, just for like a first couple of pages because I totally forgot about the deal that Cass makes. So that just took a little bit of refreshing, but I did enjoy it. There were some times where I felt it was a little rush. I felt that there's enough room to make another book or maybe a spin-off, like to pick a different character, but I honestly don't know if I would want that. I think I would prefer Cassiel to be the main character just because of certain things. I like his perspective on like his brother and his relationships and stuff like that. But at the same time, because I kind of forced myself, I shouldn't say kinda, I did. I forced myself to go out and read this book for the booktubeathon, like to part of one of the challenges was to go ahead and finish a series. So I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I would have if I was missing the Curse Worker series. I went ahead and I gave this book 3.5 stars. Again, I think I would have given it higher if I was missing the series, which I wasn't. After that, I decided that I was ready to go ahead and read something that was going to break my heart, basically. So I ended up finding this book called Fading by E.K. Blair. And if you guys don't already know, there was a review video that I made, which I'll go ahead and link down below. So I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it was freaking amazing. I loved it. It made me cry and it made me laugh. It made me swoon. There was times that I wanted to wring people's necks, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars and I don't regret it. And the people that won copies of it, I hope you guys enjoy it and love it as much as I did. So after reading Fading, I had the same day that I bought that book, I had bought another one called Surrender Your Love by J.C. Reed. I know I mentioned it in one of my Friday Reads books. Wait, Friday Reads videos. This book, I didn't know what I was going to expect. I did like the synopsis. I wasn't sure if it was going to be like more towards like 50 Shades of Grey or what. Like, to be honest, I was just like, I like the cover. I'm gonna read it. Basically, what the story involves is Jet Mayfield and Brooke Stewart. Brooke Stewart is a 23-year-old personal assistant slash like real estate agent type of person. She is sent to go ahead and get some information because her boss is thinking of selling his company and for some reason sends her to go ahead and meet with Mr. Mayfield to see what are his numbers and what's his offer to buy the firm basically. Their first encounter wasn't really a good one. She found him super attractive. Like he's 6'2", tall, dark, and handsome with these like amazing green eyes, and nowhere near Damon's green eyes, right? Because no one can beat those, but green eyes nonetheless. And it kind of just goes from there. So yeah, that doesn't go well. So she goes home. When she arrives home, Brooke has a roommate named Sylvie. Sylvie is this like hardworking, determined person, but at the same time, she has like no boundaries. Like, she will sleep with like her boss who is married, and she ends up getting fired because of her boss being afraid that his wife's gonna find out or something like that. So, to make her feel better, or Sylvie kind of cons Brooke into going to make her feel better, and they go out drinking, and basically what happens the next day is Brooke wakes up with like this naked man not knowing what happened, and this is basically where the book grabs my attention. Like this is where it grabs my attention and it keeps it because I'm interested in knowing like how and yeah. So it turns out being like this gorgeous man in her bed is Jet. She doesn't know at the time yet that it wasn't too hard for me to understand, so I guess it's a little spoiler, but Jet is actually Mayfield, which I said his name earlier, I know, but when they first meet, she's there to meet Mayfield, not knowing that he's actually Mayfield because he uses like his mother's last name or something like that. So, yes. So they have this like weird encounter. It's super funny. I could not stop laughing. I could picture it in my head. It was super good, and that's where it kind of intrigued me. So it goes from there. Brooke Brooke ends up going to work late because of this whole situation and everything like that. And when she gets to work, she has to tell her boss like why she was late and what happened that night with Mayfield. She tells him that he's a no-show and then he gets fired. Wait, she gets fired on there. And it's not because of her being late or anything like that. She gets fired because Mayfield wants to hire her. And if James, who is her boss, doesn't make her go or doesn't fire her, like he won't buy his firm and he really wants his firm to be purchased. So he fires her. And it's like this whole whirlwind. Like she goes and she gets her information of her new job. It's like an amazing pay and she's literally going to Italy like the next day for some business trip for like 2 weeks. So they go to this business trip and she finds out that Jet is Mr. Mayfield, and that is her new boss. And yes, there is attraction, there is feelings in this story. It it was like an emotional roller coaster. Like you go from infatuation and then like hate and then lust and then like hatred and heartbreaking, and some of the things that happened I was surprised, like I never expected what happened to happen. I really enjoyed it. I did go ahead and give it 4 out of 5 stars. I did start the second book, Conquer Your Love. I am on chapter 6. We'll see how that goes and you guys will hear all about it in my August wrap up. So these are the 10 books that I went ahead and read in the month of July. If you are interested in wanting to go ahead and read them, I will have them posted down below with their Goodread links as well so that you guys can add them to your TBR. If you have any questions about them, by all means, I'll answer them for you if you want to leave it in the comments down below as well. If you guys have read any of these books, let me know what you thought about them. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye!